Hi, my name is Nina Liakino, and I'm an artistic director at Factory. I'm also a director and a freelance dramaturg as well. I was fortunate enough, during Sherry B's kind of last year as the AD of the National Theatre School. She called me up out of the blue, and she's like, "Nina, I really want you to have you at our school. Carte blanche, anything you want to do with the first years." Think about it and then get back to me. And that really scared me. Not because I don't have any experience in teaching anything to kids, but I think that I had an impression in my mind that I needed to teach something like with academic or something really high, and so I called Sherry. I go, Sherry, I can only really bring myself to the kids, and what I do know two things is new play development, which is a passion of mine, and diverse works. So she's like, do that. And so then I got to thinking about it a little bit more. And then I came up with basically Project Other. And knowing the makeup of the class that I was going to teach, it was basically a class of 11 students, and 10 of them were white from different parts of Canada. So it was diverse in that way. And one was a student from Zambia. So very, very interesting dynamic. And so what I did was for the month that I was with them, I collected about 12 to 15 Canadian plays by Canadian playwrights of color. And how I kind of filtered them in terms of my selection process was, I'm going to choose plays that really feature young characters, young voices, as opposed to, because there's lots of them out there. I mean, not a whole ton, but there is a canon. But for me, what was important that if I was going to introduce culturally diverse works to these young artists, that they find their peers, not necessarily themselves, because that was the whole point of Project Other. It was the study of the other, that they could see somebody else, but if they had something in common, it would be the age. So all the characters that all the plays that I chose were written by diverse artists, but with young characters. It's centered around young lives or young voice. So I was able to cull about 12 to 15 works from Marjorie Chan's Madness in the Square, Rosa Laborda's Leo, Jason McHanoy, Maribeth Badian's the Making of Saint Jerome. So all of those pieces were either already produced or published, but some were also new works. And so I had all the playwrights. I let them know about this, and they're like, okay, great. And so armed with this, I came into the class, and sure enough, of course, they're like a little bit shocked, because I said, okay, so this is what we're going to do. I want you guys to, so I split the class into various groups and gave them their assigned plays. And they were to do staged readings of it and present it to the rest of the group that was not coming up. And after that, we would have a discussion about it. But apart from doing the stage reading of it, there was a research component of it to do any and all of the research that the play, the environment of the play, where it's coming from, all of that, to do a presentation, like a dramaturgical presentation of the background of the play, where the play is based historically, blah blah blah. Even the country, like if the play was set in India, what part of India, give us a real good three-dimensional picture of where the play is coming from, or in the voice or the character. So you have something like Banana Boys by Leon Orius, and assigning it to 5 white boys, and talking about Hong Kong, or the origins of the Cantonese accent, or what is banana, like the term banana in the Chinese Canadian context. So all of that. So I also did Gas Girls by Donna Michelle St. Bernard, which kind of really placed Tasha, who is the Zambian student, in a really powerful place. I think that for the first time her classmates were going to get to know her world and where she was coming from, which was coincidental, because I'm like, oh, that's great. Like, I have a play that features Africa in a sense. So yeah, is a month of really intense research and discovery for these kids, including Natasha, who was like the only kind of brown student. And it was a present, and then in the end, after all the stage readings and getting to know the works as a showcase to the rest of the school, we put the best excerpts, so the most favorite excerpts from all the pieces, and put it together and showcase the school. But that also, so we rehearsed that, but that also meant that the actors needed to do some deep dialect work. And this is where the tricky part was, because one of the assignments was for them to learn the Chinese national anthem for Marjorie Chan's Man is the Square, which was about the Tiananmen Square revolution. They had to learn a South Asian accent. They had to learn a Cantonese accent. So all of that. So they had to research that and learn it either through, deep research, and also consultant, like bring in other people in the school that were of that heritage to help them to be their dialect coach, or call people and be creative in trying to be as authentic and as honorable as they can be for these characters that they were, as actors, going to communicate to an audience. So yeah, and that was a mind-blowing experience, especially because there was an audience to see their work, and the response from the audience, and Guillermo Verdecchia actually saw it and was just like, wow, it was quite powerful. And the other students of color who were seeing this, their white peers performing them, in a sense, was like, it gave them perspective of how, I guess, their white peers see them when they're performing Shakespeare. Right? So it's kind of like, oh, okay, now I get it. I get the fuss now, because of course there's the thing of seeing, a white boy perform a Cantonese accent done quite nicely, with executed well, with skill. But there was still something kind of like, wow, this is really interesting. It's not bad, but interesting. And it gave them pause to think of like, so that's what it's like. And mind you, that this was a whole exercise. Like, it was not meant for the class to go out and go, I can play, but it was an exercise in deeper understanding of the other and of themselves. It ended up being. It introduced them to a whole new work that was beyond Shakespeare and the classics, that was beyond Judith Thompson and George F. Walker and David French, so that now when you go, give me one of your favorite plays, a white boy can say Banana Boys by Leonorius, and you wouldn't bat an eyelash about that. It gave them a new vocabulary to think about contemporary Canadian theater. Again, it kind of opened their minds in terms of like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't just be looking to works that are just about me or universal, like that I could be attracted to works that are specific, that are not about me, and there's still power in sharing and absorbing that knowledge, and again, understanding as a performer what it takes to find that authentic voice, to understand and respect difference, and to honor that, and it's to learn how to do an accent from Bombay is not just about sitting and watching Apu in an episode of Simpsons. Then that's the way you study the accent, right? But learning the history of colonization in different countries and why a Filipino accent is the way it is because of the Spanish influence, and all of that. They now carry that knowledge. All these 11 actors carry the knowledge of like South America from all the works that and they have a more global knowledge of who resides here in Canada and the many different voices that we have. And that was something that they were really proud of, and that nobody can take away from them as performers. They're so richer for that. So that was kind of Project Other. And of course, I guess somebody got wind of it and it came to Diana, and Diana called me up right away and says, I want you to do that for Humber. And so I started that last year with the first years, their own Project Other, and was really, again, successful. And then, so now, because I'm moving on to working with the second years with David Yee, and we're creating a play for them. She wants to do it again with the incoming first years, but hiring, another person to kind of administer it. Because I think there was a genuine, I can't really articulate it in the sense that, during the showcase, and when everybody was watching them, there was and I guess the safety of knowing that this is an exercise. Again, this is something that we're not going to tour this or anything, but that it was an exercise in understanding and respect and difference, that the genuineness kind of, I think, shone through. So nobody really, and because they did it so well, that nobody really, the whole idea of appropriation of voice never even came up in the discussion. I think people felt the genuineness of what the project was trying to do. And again, it was actors learning to really be in somebody else's shoes in a deeper way. It's about communication and dialogue. I think that the hesitation often comes from, it's fear, right? Like, who am I going to offend? Who am I going to hurt? Do you know what I mean? And I think that as Canadians, we're often too polite or too afraid to kind of seek help for the delicate matters. And I think that, again, look to us. And that's what, Philip Aiken and Yvette Nolan and, and Michael Grayes, we've all been saying, it's like, guys, like, if you're going to go into this territory, that's great. But if you're not sure, before you kind of jump off without a parachute or whatever, we're always available and accessible for a dialogue, a consultation, advice, or something, right? So that like if that person ever called me up and we had a discussion, I can go, wait a minute, because we all have